So this is a somewhat tutorial on how to install these here AliExpress crash bars on the 800 NK. As you can see, already crashed before I put them on, so that helps. They fit pretty good. I do believe they'll stand up to quite a bit of force. They're pretty sturdy. There is a crossbar that goes underneath between the two pieces to help absorb impact. Big bars. It's pretty solid. And it doesn't stick out like too far. No further than the blinkers anyway. So you kind of got like a do-it-yourself kit here because it doesn't tell you a damn thing about how to do this. Oh yeah, here's all the tools I used to do this job. I had a long 8mm hex socket, 3/8 if it matters. I don't recommend using a smaller one than that on 8mm. I had a short 8mm socket and a 6mm, as well as a T45 and a T40 Torx, some 8, 6, and 5 L wrenches, a 10mm wrench, doesn't have to be a gear wrench, it's just the one I used, thread locker for most of your bolts if you want them to stay on there, a torque wrench for tightening things if you care, otherwise just send it. Then you need a 17mm wrench of some kind. I would definitely recommend a breaker bar because those foot pegs are fucking tight. And I about broke my ratchet trying to take them off. So you also need a 3/8 ratchet. Should about do what you need between this stuff on the floor here. And then at the end of the process, I don't know what these were for. I could not find a home for these. I thought maybe they went in these things here, but I just figured they're one more thing that's gonna rattle around. I don't know. The screws that hold these on are the short, skinny 10mm ones. They have a smaller head on them than the other screws. But for starters, you have to take off this whole panel. This is all one piece. And to get the panels off, there's screws around it and these push pins. So you start with these push pins. You need to push like a little pick or pen or something in the middle of it to pop the middle in. And then you pull the pins out. Followed by this 5mm screw. Then you go around to the front. In the notch there, you need to take that one out. And then down here underneath the radiator, there's another one. Right there. And another one behind it on that side. So you take out those screws, take out those push pins, and then if you're like me, you will break this motherfucker in the middle here. It doesn't seem to matter. There's two clips here, one here and one here. This one's the one that I've broken. I broke it putting the signals on, and I'm hot glued it back on there, and I broke that damn thing again getting it off of here. But between the screw and the other clips, this is not going anywhere, and I don't really see the point in it, so I would just leave it broken if you break it. But this panel just pulls off, and then there's a blinker wire in there that you have to undo. And that'll get you at, so you can see all of these bolts. And this is this side, so the longer plate goes on this side with the smaller aluminum bushings in between the plate and the frame here. There's a smaller bushing on the bottom in between the plate and the frame that you can't see. And these are the longer bolts that come in the kit running through there. And when you go around to the back on this side, take out this screw, and you take off the 2 foot peg screws, which are really damn stuck on there with the Loctite. So use a breaker bar and a good T40 bit. This bolt for the frame is a T45. All really tight bolts, but once you get those out, this part slides forward and pulls out on both sides. You're gonna have to take that off. Taking apart this side, the right side is pretty similar. There's bolts in similar locations. There's a 5mm here. There's one in the front underneath in the recess down there that you have to take out. The 2 push pins again, and then another nice clip to break right there. There's also a screw here, but instead of being on the bottom on this side, it is in the front next to the radiator. So you need to take that one out. Once you get all those out, you can pop that off. And on this side, there is also this USB plug wire that's clipped into here. I'm not gonna take it out, but it's pretty tight squeeze, so when you pull it off, mind that wire and also the blinker wire. Those all have to get detached to get this panel off. And on this side, you're using the smaller of the plates that comes in the kit. It's kind of shaped like a triangle. It goes right up against the frame. You kind of see how it's put together there. So the big round chunk's gonna go forward, and then you're gonna bolt in. You gotta take off the stock horn bracket and replace it with the longer 8mm screws and a washer. And I think I showed a closer view of this before. You're gonna be abusing your radiator hose. You may want to spray some WD-40 on it or something, get past it easier, or your favorite lube, whatever. You will be bending this pretty significantly to get at these screws. Kind of a pain in the butt, but you can get in there. Just try not to cross thread your screws, because that's the engine block in the back, and you don't want to fuck that up. But this is how the pieces go on the bars. This little plastic doodad with a bolt through it, and one of the nylock nuts. I don't have a washer on there yet, but I'm assuming it's supposed to get one. Same thing with this. Comes like that. You just unscrew the nut and the washer and put it on there. This bracket goes on the right side of the bike. You're going to take out these bolts that the factory horn is attached to, and get rid of the entire bracket that's on, because you don't use it, it gets in the way of the bar. And that's going to get replaced by these 2 pieces of sheet metal, one right here, and then this other one up here. Those 2 pieces are going to go on top of this triangular shaped plate. like such. And you need to put that rubber piece from the factory horn thing back in there so that you can reattach the horn to that. In the back, I used one of the stock bolts from the front that I took out of the engine to attach this one with a washer and a fat aluminum spacer in between the frame and crash bar. This is a really tight bolt. It's supposed to be 60 Newton meters. Both sides on the back, I used the stock bolt that I pulled out of the engine for the bolts in the kit. I just put that one in there with the washer. So it goes bolt, washer, bar, then the large aluminum bushing, then the rear subframe and the main frame.